Even on film crews, and oftentimes when women are in positions of authority, they kind of replicate a certain kind of authority, because the way we perceive authority, and when we is a very stereotypical masculine kind of image that we have.
There were too many layers to her, and when you got to playing her, were you able to pull back all those layers, and how did you estimate her intersectionality?
We all have several identities. For that reason, I think that Bharti's character was not unidimensional, it was not flat, and because of all these the intersection of all these identities, there was a lot of nuance to the character, which made it very real and made it much easier for me to portray that character.
We see that this intersectionality in Indian cinema is often missing. Our cinema does pursue a lot of threads, but they are all usually very, very singular. So what causes this lack of representation? Is there a fear of some sort? Is it hesitation?
I think what has happened is that we have normalized a particular kind of culture, to be portrayed on, in mainstream media, mainstream culture, etc. There's a very narrow kind of not just definition, there's a very narrow range for acceptability, what women are supposed to be like. Or when the families and the people, the characters we depict on screen are often from dominant castes, so, and that has been normalized as though that is the prototype and that is the template, which is not true. It's an incomplete story. We just, which is why it's so great that we're seeing Bharti Mondal as a protagonist who is a queer Dalit woman. And neither of these identities are really represented very much. And what was amazing is that not only is she somebody who is from a marginalized community, but at the same time, she's not projected as a victim. She has a lot of power. Has been given a lot of power because of the gaze through which Neeraj looks at her.
So now Bharati, she had the make of what many people would call conventionally tomboyish. So, and this is a feature that we see in a lot of women who are working. We often see that they have to sort of shed their femininity somewhere and adopt a masculine sense, and especially with Bharti, you see that she was working in an all-male workplace, and often, it was all manual strength. So do you think women everywhere, they sort of in the workplace have to resort to these measures to sort of fit in?
Yeah, to a certain extent that does happen. I'll come to that. But also I think Bharati's behavior, her mannerisms, etc. was, partly that, but also partly stemming from her sexuality and her choices, about her, regarding her sexuality and her gender. It was not only because she was in a male-dominated environment. Though I have seen that happening a lot, even on film crews. And oftentimes when women are in positions of authority, they kind of replicate a certain kind of authority, because the way we perceive authority, and when we is a very stereotypical masculine kind of image that we have about what authority should look like. So many times I'll find, like, if there's a female assistant director, for example, they will take on very aggressive kind of roles to kind of, because that is how they are taken seriously, which says a lot about us and how we perceive authority and how we react to authority.
So there's this theme's present in the movie as well. And of course, this is a common experience for a lot of people in India still, where the institution of marriage is still, it still has a stronghold of sanctity in our society. It's sacred, it's forever. It's something that cannot be broken. Do you think that deters women walking away from bad marriages or incompatible marriages? And do you think that narrative is preventing divorce from being normalized in India?
There are so many different kinds of people and different kinds of marriages in India that it's hard to say exactly. But I think that the key thing is, especially in terms of like marriages and bad marriages and people being stuck in bad marriages, for women particularly, it's very important to have financial freedom, to have, financial independence. I think that is key, because then you have many more choices, whether you want to stay on in a marriage for whatever your reasons may be, if it's not a happy marriage. so that is the key thing, I think, financial independence for most women, so that they can decide for themselves. Because the worst thing is having to stay in a marriage because your economical options are limited.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any videos by us.